Hey everyone, welcome back to LowCodeHub. Pega Infinity 25 has been recently launched. In this video, we'll show you how to download and install Pega Infinity 25 in Windows system. Before we begin, these are the requirements that we need as part of the complete installation guide. The first is Java JDK 17 needs to be installed. Pega recommends you to have 17 version. Next is you should download Tomcat 10, and that is recommended for Pega Infinity 25. Next is Kafka. So Kafka should be downloaded as well as installed in your system. In this demo, we'll be using Kafka 4.1. In the next, Postgres should be installed and it should be up and running. Next, of course, is the main thing. You should download Pega installation zip file. We'll show you in the video how to download this file. Next, we need Postgres JDBC driver. Last but not least, in some of the systems, we face Tomcat server start issues. So because of this Bouncy Castle issue, so we need a couple of jar files, and we'll show you how to fix that issue as well. As usual, all the links are provided in the description. You can check them out. So we have already installed Java and PostgreSQL 18 version in our system. And also we have already configured our Kafka in this softwares folder. So I'll leave all the links in the description box for installing Java, Postgres, and Kafka in your system. Now let's first download Pega Infinity 25 zip file. For downloading Pega Infinity 25 installation zip file, open your web browser and go to community.pega.com and then log in with your credentials. Once logged in, click on support and then navigate to download Pega software. After the page loads, select software and then select my software. You will now see a list of available products. Now select Pega platform and then click next. In the next screen, you can select the specific version you need. We will choose the latest version 25 and then release 25.1.1 and then click submit request. A confirmation screen will appear. Simply click the download button to start downloading the Pega Infinity zip file. Once Pega installation file is downloaded, just right click on this and click on extract all. And then select any specific folder. I'm going to name it as Pega 25 and then extract. Now that zip file has been extracted, we'll go inside that. You can see that there are multiple folders inside that. We'll come to this later. We have already installed Postgres on our system. Now let's open pgadmin and verify that whether our Postgres server is running or not. So we have our local server. Let me log in. The default password is Postgres. So we have connected and we have only one Postgres database that is already there. Now let's create a new database. Let's click on create and give it something like Pega 25. And then the owner is same. Click on save. So we have a new database along with Postgres. We're going to use Pega 25 as our database for the further installation. Now, before we go to the installation, inside this database, we need to have schemas. So currently there is one schema called public, but we would like to create 3 more schemas. First is rules and data and customer data. You can use customer data. Again, you can name the names in a different way, whatever you want, but make sure to remember these names. We need this rules, data, and customer data schemas, so that in our installation, we have to specify these names. So we'll come back to this later. Now go to the installation extracted Pega 25 folder, and inside that, the first thing is we have scripts, and inside that there is this setupDatabase.properties. Just right click on it and click on edit notepad. Now for this, we'll scroll down. First, we need to specify the JDBC jar file. For that, we'll go to our downloads or wherever you have that JDBC driver. Right click on this and copy as path, and copy it here. So make sure to remove this quotations and also change the slash. And this is fine. And as you can see in my laptop, so the current is localhost and the port is running in 5432, and here we need to specify the database. So our database name is Pega 25, right? So we'll change that to Pega 25, and the username is Postgres, and password is also Postgres. And scroll down. So as we are doing the initial installation, so we need to specify the admin password. Currently, I'm going to use rules at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so previously we have created 3 schemas in our database, right? So this is the reason I have told you that we need to remember those names. So for rule schema, we're going to use that rules schema that we have created. Again, you can name whatever you want. So for simplicity, I've used rules as my schema name. And similarly for data, I'm going to use data. And for again customer data, I'm going to use the same name that I've created. And next is temporary directory. So during the installation, it will try to extract the folders into some temporary directory. So we need to specify the directory here. For that, let me go to our PC, and here the software, I'm going to create some temporary directory. Again, you can specify whatever folder you want. I'm going to click on Pega, and inside that I'm going to name some folder called temp. And then I click on it and then go to here. Again, as usual, you change the slash into this. And whenever possible, try to click on Control Save or Control S of this file. And then we don't need to touch any of these things. If you want, you can change the production version of your installation. I'm going to leave as it is currently level 2, which is our development environment. Yep. So that's it in this file. We'll close this. Now we'll go back to the scripts folder. And here you can see that there is a file called install.bat. Again, make sure we have our Postgres running. And also, I've already installed Java in our system. So for that, I'm going to check what is my Java version. You can see it's Java 17. That's what Pega recommends. Now with that, I'm going to click on this install.bat. for Windows as well as install.sh for Linux. So currently in our case we are in Windows system, right? So we'll click on this install. Just click on run. So it's trying to extract the files into our temporary directory that we have given, and then once it is done extracting, it will try to install into our database. If you have followed all the steps, then once the installation or database import is completed, then it will automatically close. Then to verify whether it is completed or not, just head over to the same scripts folder and go to logs and open the latest one that we have and click on this. And at the end, you should see that Pega Infinity database load completed. That means the Pega database has been imported into your schema and your database that you got created. If you face any kind of errors or you don't see this successful message, then that means there is some problem. Make sure that you're using Java 17 version and you have already created a Java home variable in the environment variable. And to restart the installation or resume the installation, just go to your Postgres and delete this database and recreate the same database name and the schemas, so that when you reinstall it or resume the installation, it is going to start from scratch. So make sure to do that. Next, let's start with the Tomcat installation. So I already have a Tomcat 10.1.48 folder. Now let me unzip that. So I have this folder. Let me open that, and we need this folder. Let me cut this and go back and paste it here. So this is your personal choice. I'm just making things easier. So we don't want this folder now because this contains all of the files. So I'm going to rename it as Tomcat 10 for simplicity. And then we need to make some changes in certain files. First thing is, we already have this Pega zip file, right? And inside that, you go to archives and prweb.war, copy this file and go back to our Tomcat folder, and inside that we have webapps, and then paste that. So now we have prweb.war in webapps folder. Now first let's start our Tomcat. For that, inside here, and then here in the startup.bat, just click on this startup.bat. So you will see like this. Now this is the initial time. We will close this because we have a lot of things. Now if you go back to webapps folder, now you will have this new prweb folder. Now we don't need this, we can delete this. The first time that we have started Tomcat is just to form this prweb folder, and then once the prweb folder is created, we will close the Tomcat server, and then we will delete the prweb.war file. Now in this prweb, and you go to WEB-INF and then classes and then prconfig.xml. So this is the default code that we have inside this prconfig.xml file. So just below these lines, add these lines. So here we are talking about, so we want to add a Kafka provider which is externalized from 24 dot some versions. So, and then our Kafka server will be running in the localhost 9092. And then for protocol, we are using plain text. We don't have any authentication for Kafka. And then, so these are the parameters we need to add. So once the parameters are added, just click on save or Control S and then close this. Now go back to Tomcat folder, and in that we have something called conf folder, and in that open context.xml. So this below this line you add this code. So here we're talking about our database server, which is nothing but in the localhost 543 port, and our database name is Pega25 and username and password of your database. Along with that, we also want to add what is our rule schema, data schema, and customer data schema that we have created in the database import. And then we also need to mention what is our temporary directory for our Tomcat server to store temporary files. For that, I'm going to go back to our folder, and I have softwares folder. Inside that I have something called temp. So in this, I'll just copy this and go back to our Tomcat folder here, and then I reopen here, and then I update this value. You can name whatever you want, but in my scenario, this is the folder. Once that is done, now next thing is close this. Now we want to copy our Postgres JDBC driver into lib folder. So if you go back to our installation folder, so we already have downloaded this Postgres JDBC driver, right? Just copy this and go back to our Tomcat 10, and inside that we have lib folder. Now we have done all of the major things. Now it's time to start our Tomcat server. But before that, as I said, from Pega 23 or 24 onwards, we need to have Kafka server ready, right? So for that, before we start a Tomcat server, we need to have our Kafka server ready. I already have Kafka ready in my, and I'll just start Kafka server. So currently I'm in this folder. So in this, I need to use this command. I need to use this command to start Kafka server. I'll just click on enter. Let's wait for the Kafka server to start. So if you faced any kind of issues in Kafka, I have already mentioned all the issues and and the ways to fix in the other video. You can watch that video. You can see that Kafka server is started. Now, if you go back again to our Tomcat, now let's start our Tomcat server. For that, in the Tomcat folder, we have bin, and inside that we have startup.bat, and click on run. So it's time to do the initial things. So it's going to unlock and it's going to connect to our database. As you can see, it started very fast, but as you can see, there are some issues, and that is the reason it stopped after some time. So what is the issue? So these are, if you see, there are some this app server bridge to Pega issue, and after this data grid module, it's unable to start our Tomcat server. So after a lot of analysis, I figured out that from Tomcat 10, right? So there are some two files that are missing. If you go back to, I leave the links to those two files also. So these are the two files that are required in some of the laptops. So, and Tomcat 10 really needs these two files. So let me copy this and go back to our Tomcat folder, and once again go back to lib folder and paste it here. Now we will close our Tomcat server. The Tomcat server is closed, and also let's go back to our Kafka. As you can see, the Kafka server is also shut down because of some reason. Let's restart our Kafka server. Yeah, it started. Now let's go back to Tomcat folder and again bin. So we have already copied those two files, right? Now let's start our server, startup.bat, and run. So this time, so previously we are having that issue, right? Now with that, now this time you will not have that issue. You can see that previously we were having issue at this point, but now we have crossed that. We are moving to a different step. In the background, we have our Kafka server running. Let's keep like this. On the right side, we have Tomcat, and on the left side, we have Kafka server. Now, let's open the browser and verify that whether server is starting or not. So finally, we're able to log in. So during the database setup, we have given a password, right? So make sure to remember the password, and the username is at pega.com, and password that we have kept is this one. So as soon as you log in for the first time, you need to change the password also. So based on your system configuration, it will take some time for the initial, for the first time that you install. There you go. Currently, by default, when you log in as administrator, this is what you see. So in the initial 25.1.1, you will see this option build from scratch and existing application. But as soon as you install this update, you will not see this. So Pega is trying to forcefully making you to use Blueprint. So the moment you install the update, then you will not see these two options. Again, there is a workaround for that. But yeah, if you install this update, then you will not see this build manually option. Now let's switch to Dev Studio and see whether it's 25.1 version or not. As you can see, this is the latest one. If you go click on this eye icon and click on About Infinity, there you go. We are in Pega Infinity 25 version. I hope you really liked the video. If you found any issues during the installation, or you have any questions, leave them in the comments box. We will try to answer those questions for you. Until next time, this is Vinay signing off.